Jonatha Brooke is our guest on the World Cafe. Her career started at the same time as the World Cafe 25 years ago when she was in the duo The Story. Recently, she branched out and created the one-woman musical with her songs called My Mother Has Four Noses, about caring for her mother with dementia and cancer. Now she is back with a new album called Midnight Hallelujah. We'll talk in a moment, but first, live in front of an audience upstairs at World Cafe Live, here's Jonatha Brooke and Put the Gun Down.
Put the gun down. Come talk to me. You got a lot of nerve. You're bitching about your freedom. Say you had it rough. Everybody got their cross, and so you're bearing up. You seek your prophets, you tally your loss, and then you carry on, carry on, carry on. You carry on, carry on, carry on. 'Cause nobody done you wrong, so you carry on, and you put the gun down. Was your daddy mean? Your mama couldn't be saved. No one keeping you clean. Or is it just attention that you crave? So put the gun down. Nobody has to lose. You got no way out. Except forgiveness, so you better choose. And then you carry on, carry on, carry on. You carry on, carry on, carry on. 'Cause nobody done you wrong. Well, it's Tuesday, you could make it to Wednesday. Thursday, I might feel the sun. Friday knows nothing about Saturday, and Sunday don't need no gun. So don't aim, don't swing. Nobody has to bleed, and no fat lady gonna sing. Yeah, and you may never get what you need until you carry on, carry on, carry on, yeah. Carry on, carry on, carry on. Nobody done you wrong, so you carry on, yeah, yeah. You carry on, carry on, carry on. You carry on, carry on, carry on. 'Cause nobody done you wrong, so you carry on, yeah, yeah. And you put the gun down. Yeah, put the gun down. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Jonatha Brooke, our guest, with one from the new one, Midnight Lullaby. And before we go any further, who are you sharing the stage with here?
Oh my goodness, this is Sean Driscoll on the guitar and vocals. And this is Joe Laurie. And that's a, Joe, can you explain what that is?
Well, these are called shruti boxes. They're these Indian drone instruments from the colonial period.
The colonial period?
Yeah, from the English occupation of India. So some good came out of it.
It's kind of like a portable harmonium, sort of.
Yeah.
Something like that. I want to talk about this new album, but I think it would be remiss if we didn't kind of talk a little bit about your run on off-Broadway with
Oh, thank you.
My Mother Has Four Noses, because I never really checked in with you after that. And now, how many performances did you do a week? Did you do
I
six?
think,
Or
well, I think we did. We
8?
started at 7, and then we went to 6.
Wow.
Because it's a lot. It's like Christine Lavin says, it's like taking the veil. You know, you're really joining quite a disciplined.
You must have loved
Company.
Mondays. When you were,
Mondays
you
were
dark.
great, man. I was so tired.
But you're such a kind of a loose and natural performer. What was it like to have to like hit, lighting cues and all that?
Well, luckily I had some dance training, so I was used to sort of hitting my mark and like being in the right place at the right time and moving and that kind of thing. So that kicked in for me. What was hardest was that sometimes, because it is such an emotional story and because it's my story, I am acting to a certain extent. I'm hitting these marks and these moments, but there would be moments where the emotion would surprise me and it would come up at the wrong time. And so I'd be reading one of my mother's poems, which my mother was a poet, so like I'd be reading one of her poems and not supposed to cry, but I would sort of feel this emotion coming up and like, not now, not now, not now, this is the funny part. So there would be those sort of like impromptu emotional, and it just made it different every night. It became,
Did that
it's a live piece.
continue through the entire run?
It got a little more sort of solidified, and I could sort of pull it up on command when I needed it.
Well, what about the effect after? I wonder if did it have an effect on writing for this album?
Well, that's a good question. I think it freed me to go completely another direction, to be more topical, to be loose, to groove, to rock. I definitely was sated with the deepness of that record and the deepness of the story and those songs and how much love there was in it. And this was more like, okay, I'm back in this saddle.
Speaking of topical, because there are all kinds of songs on this record, but the one you began with, Put the Gun Down, where did that come from?
I had that chorus for a long time. I mean, I'm not really a fan of guns, and they actually terrify me. I don't think I've even been that close to one until I went to Walmart in, where were we? Arkansas? Scared the crap out of me. Yeah, Sean was there with me. We're like, I don't know, looking for underpants or something. Is that too much? Did I say too much? They have great underpants. But anyway, then there was this whole section of guns, and I've never seen one up close, and I lost my cool. I was like, my blood ran cold, and I got really scared. And so anyway, that was part of my writing the song, not the Walmart experience, but my fear of guns. And then I wanted to make more of a personal story about it, and not just be preaching about like, guns are a problem in this country. Like, oh my God, duh. So I sort of made it a story, like a personal story about like whether it's a gun or whether it's, you're harming yourself, whatever it is, put the gun down, come talk to me.
Someone dubbed that kind of thing faction. So it's fiction from...
Oh, that's good.
I like that.
That's good.
Jonatha Brooke is our guest, and we're hearing some of these new songs. And what's next?
I think it's called Too Much Happiness. This is a song that was inspired by an Alice Munro book of short stories. She is one of my all-time favorite writers. Could you get that? I think she won the Pulitzer for her writing. Anyway, I'm such a fan of books and short stories and poetry, and I am my mother's daughter. My dad was a journalist also. So I think I knew exactly what she was talking about. Too much happiness for me is that exquisite, excruciating feeling when you're that happy that it hurts because it's so ephemeral. It might not be forever and you can't hold on to it, but it's that good. Lost without you here, desperate when you're far. Nothing nothing even matters, and I'm not where you are. It's too much happiness, my love, true. Too much happiness, and too much happiness, and too little time with you. I swear my heart explodes each time that you're near. I'm still weak in the knees when you whisper that you're here. It's too much happiness, my love, true. Too much happiness, and too much happiness, and too little time. You say don't worry, you say don't fret. I say I can't get enough of you yet. You say tomorrow will come what may, but what if tomorrow doesn't mean always? Life's too short for this much love, so I swear it on the stars. I'll be here forever, wherever you are. It's too much happiness, it's breaking my heart. Too much happiness right from the start. Too much happiness, too much happiness, too much happiness, and too little time, too little time with you. Thank you so much. Thought we'd do a really old one to commemorate 25 years. But we're not old, we're just getting better. It's interesting, after I did the show about my mom, this song took on a very different meaning to me. It's called So Much Mine. This is one of the early story songs. I don't know if we did it that first time we traipsed up those stairs.
Probably the second.
I was a nanny. Before I did this, I did a lot of other things. I was a modern dancer. I was a nanny. I painted houses. I was a cleaning lady. Whatever it took to pay the bills. But one year, I took care of these two little girls, Emma and Rosa Gilmore. And it's the closest that I've come to feeling that maternal, fierce, I would take a bullet for you love, until I cared for my mom. And after that 2-year period with Mom, I just realized how much you can love, how fiercely you can love someone who's more childlike, who needs you way more than you ever expected or knew. So it's a very different song now. Where'd you get that dress? Where'd you learn to walk like that? Don't talk back and tell me where you've been. Maybe I don't wanna know. Oh, Lord, why me? You were so much mine. Now I reach for you and I cannot find you. So much mine. Now I reach for you and I cannot find you. So much mine. So much mine. So much you've got my hands and you've got your father's eyes, lovely bold eyes. I know that it's not fair, but things aren't always what they seem. And now I worry so. Where you lay your head, where you'll sleep tonight, way up high, why oh why can't I? Someone's pillow's cold, someone loved you so. Bluebird say, there's no place like home. Where's the heart in me that made the one in you so cold? Please don't go. 'Cause I know where you got that dress. I know where you learned to walk like that. Yeah. You were so much mine. Now I reach for you and I cannot find you. So much mine. Now I reach for you and I cannot find you. So much mine. Now I reach for you and I cannot find you. So much mine. Now I reach for you. There's no place like home. So much mine. 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 Thank you so much.
Goosebumps, I tell you. When certain harmonies hit, you're just like, hair stands up. Ooh, that was wonderful.
Those minor seconds are my favorite, you know.
That sounded great. Well, I was thinking when you were doing that, I was, obviously we sort of have a mini theme here of it's been 25 years. But was creation of a songwriting, different for you back then? I mean, there's this cliche of the 20s where things just kind of rush out. And I was wondering.
It's always been torture. Things did rush out, actually, in the very early days, because it was like finding a new toy. I started late. I think I was a sophomore in college before I started writing songs. And so it was like being struck by lightning and like this electricity going off. And all of a sudden I had this new thing that was like the most exciting possible thing I could do. Finally, I could put all the dissonance in one place in one song, and I could choreograph these voices to do these weird athletic dancer-like things, and I could make weird chords, and I could just say whatever I wanted, and I could have two opinions at once, counterpoint. And so that was super exciting. And then, you learn as you get older that maybe you don't need to do every single possible thing in every single possible song. Like you could spare yourself some of the dissonance and maybe just put it in a very special place where you really want an emotional high point. Or
I don't know, say something really simply and clearly, and that's sort of been the learning curve. Like sometimes the simplest, clearest thing is the very hardest.
Did people tell you that earlier on? I'm thinking of the fact that you were on a couple of major labels, and I'm wondering if they were looking for, something sing-alongable, that kind of thing.
Well, actually, when So Much Mine, when we first recorded So Much Mine, they wanted me to get rid of the so much mine, that so much mine, so much mine. They wanted me to get rid of that part because it sort of stopped the flow of the song as far as they were concerned. And I was like, what? But that's like kind of a signature thing. I mean, that's why that's there. It's like it's wrenching your heart out, hopefully. Like, that's a mother's lament. Like, where has my child gone? Like, I'm not cutting that, sorry. And luckily on page 19 of my contract was creative control.
Yay. In hindsight, you were right, yes. What does experience give you as a writer? I guess you touched on that a little bit, but
I think it gives you the, I don't know, because it's still really, really hard. I still have this little gremlin on my shoulder saying, you suck, you suck, you suck, you suck. Like every day I get in there and I'm like, fighting that I suck fader on my hi-fi. And so that hasn't changed. I think the certainty when I've gotten something is more certain. And the confidence actually on stage or in the studio, playing live with other musicians, I think I've gained more confidence in saying, no, this is how I want it, and I want it to sound like this, and I'd love you to play this, and that's what I love about getting older.
How did the title of Midnight Hallelujah come through, and how does it kind of relate to the whole thing? You're laughing already.
Well, it's complicated. Just I struggle with faith. Let's put it that way. I was raised in a very small religion, and I struggle with it. And I struggled with it, especially in trying to care for my mom, because her faith was super, super important to her and super solid, and yet dementia robbed her of it. And so I witnessed this sort of abandonment, in a way, of the one thing that had brought her solace all of her years. And I witnessed the one thing that still did work, which was just love and human touch, and the smell of the cocoa butter lotion, and singing the dumb cream of wheat jingle 100 times a day from the 50s. And that was sort of this shocking example of like, okay, there's lots of things you can listen to or pray to or whatever, but like in the end, when you're in this kind of a situation, you hold her hand and you sing the jingle, and you rub lotion on her knees, and that's my new religion. So Midnight Hallelujah sort of encapsulates all of that. There's the darkness and the lightness. There's Hallelujah, which can just be joy, and it can be praise, and it can be all those things. And so the album's a little bit of a mishmash of that, exploring, what is faith? What's the truth?
Yeah, as you say, there's some gnarly songs and some love songs on here too. It's interesting.
Yeah.
Not that you do that many love songs, but
Yeah. I'm still in love, though. So, 20 years, I had to say, like, this is too much happiness still.
Well, that's positive.
Yeah.
Well, let's get back to these new ones. What do you want to do next?
Should we do I'll do a little piano song, I think. This is probably an interesting segue. This is, I don't know if, well, of course you guys have known people who've passed away, but my mom passed away in 2012, and then I went flurriedly into doing this show and creating this show and performing it. But I still talk to her all the time. So this song kind of grew out of that conversation of we're still working on those relationships, whether the people are here or not. Those will be lifelong relationships. So it's called Light Years.
We said I love you so easily, like honey on our daily bread. Give us this day, you would always say the rest was better left unsaid. But now you're calling my name. You sing your melancholy refrain. You give me wings when I have no strength remaining, though you're light years away. Light years away. Light years in a blue folder addressed to me. You left your final testament, all the despair and complicity. You finally said the things you really meant, and now you're calling my name. You sing your melancholy refrain. You give me wings when I have no strength remaining, though you're light years away. Light years away. Hold me tight, hold me, don't let go. Tell me everything is blue skies. Suddenly I can't see what's real. I'm day blind, but I'm night wise. And now I'm calling your name. I sang your melancholy refrain. I'll spread my wings for all of my days remaining, though you're light years. Now I'm calling your name. I sing your melancholy refrain. I'll spread my wings for all of my days remaining, though you're light years away. Light years away. Light years away.
Light Years, Jonatha Brooke, live on stage at World Cafe Live. She has a new record out called Midnight Hallelujah. And if you would like to see what all that we just heard looks like, there are videos available at viewhouse.com. That's VUHAUS.com. Thanks again to Jonatha Brooke, our guest on the World Cafe.